We're not valued the way I believe we supposed to be valued.
A lot of black folks are undervalued, who put in the work, who put in the time.
They were once the faces we all knew. Black actors who lit up our screens, won awards, and inspired generations. But somewhere along the way, Hollywood turned its back. Some got caught in scandals, others dared to speak truth in a system that wasn't ready to hear it. Now they've been pushed aside, not for lack of talent, but for standing strong. These are 36 black actors Hollywood won't cast anymore, and the untold stories behind their silence. Ty Diggs was the face of black romantic comedies in the late 90s and early 2000s. With films like How Stella Got Her Groove Back and Brown Sugar, he became a heartthrob and a household name. His mix of charm and talent made him one of Hollywood's go-to leading men. But as the romantic comedy genre declined, so did his opportunities. Diggs pivoted to television, finding success in Private Practice, Empire, and All-American. More recently, he returned to Broadway in Moulin Rouge. While Hollywood no longer sees him as a movie lead, he has stayed busy by reinventing himself in TV and theater. Brandy was more than just a singer. She was a cultural icon in the late 90s and early 2000s. With her hit show Moscha and her role as Disney's first black Cinderella, she was everywhere: music, television, and film. After some time out of the spotlight, Brandy has made a comeback. She returned to television with Queens, appeared in The Front Room, and reprised her Cinderella role in Disney's Descendants. She's also released new music and has a memoir coming. While Hollywood once overlooked her, Brandy has proven she's still a star. Anthony Anderson became one of comedy's most recognizable faces, thanks to his role as Drew on Blackish. The show earned critical acclaim, awards, and cemented his place as one of TV's funniest dads. He also became a popular host for award shows and game shows, but controversy has followed him. In 2018, he was investigated for assault, though no charges were filed. The headlines were enough to make some in Hollywood cautious. Since then, his career has shifted more toward hosting gigs, like the Emmys and We Are Family, rather than starring roles in sitcoms. Wesley Snipes was the king of action in the 1990s, best known for his role as Blade, where he made comic book movies cool long before Marvel's cinematic universe. His martial arts skills and charisma put him at the top of the box office, but his downfall came with legal troubles. Snipes was convicted of tax evasion and served almost 3 years in prison. Reports of difficult behavior on set added to his problems. While he's made small comebacks in films like The Expendables 3 and Coming to America, he has never regained his status as a leading action hero. Orlando Brown was once a fan favorite on Disney Channel's That's So Raven. As Eddie Thomas, he made kids laugh with his expressions and natural comedy. At one point, he seemed ready to become a leading man in both TV and film, but after the series ended, Brown faced a string of arrests for drug possession, DUI, and domestic violence. His struggles with addiction became public, and producers saw him as unreliable. Though he's spoken about recovery and made small comebacks, Hollywood has yet to give him another big break. Tyrese Gibson started as an R&B singer before becoming one of the most recognizable faces in the Fast and Furious franchise. His character Roman brought comic relief and charm, making him a fan favorite, but Tyrese's off-screen life often made more headlines than his work. His feud with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, emotional social media posts, and child custody battles painted him as unstable in the public eye. While he continues to star in Fast and Furious films and make music, Hollywood hasn't embraced him for roles outside the franchise. Keke Palmer started as a child prodigy, stealing hearts in Akeelah and the Bee. She went on to shine in music, TV, and film, even becoming the youngest talk show host in history. Her talent and versatility made her one of Hollywood's brightest young stars. Still, she's been open about the challenges she faced. She called out colorism and typecasting, noting that her success often wasn't celebrated the same way as some of her peers. While Hollywood sometimes overlooked her, Palmer created her own opportunities, launching KKTV, hosting game shows, and even winning Emmys. She proves that being overlooked by Hollywood doesn't mean being silenced. Stacey Dash rose to stardom in the 19-hit Clueless, where her role as Dionne made her a household name. Stylish, confident, and funny, she looked like she'd have a long-lasting career in Hollywood. Years later, her acting slowed, and she became known more for politics than movies. Dash joined Fox News as a commentator, where her controversial statements about race and culture sparked outrage. Though she later expressed regret, her career momentum was already gone, and Hollywood has largely moved on. Jussie Smollett gained fame on the hit show Empire as Jamal Lyon, where his acting and singing won praise. For years, he was celebrated as one of TV's most promising stars. In 2019, he reported being the victim of a hate crime, but police later accused him of staging the attack. The fallout was enormous. He was convicted of filing a false report, though later overturned on a technicality. Regardless, Hollywood distanced itself, and Smollett hasn't been cast in any major roles since. Mo'Nique earned an Academy Award for her unforgettable role in Precious, proving she was more than just a comedian. Her powerful performance should have launched her into superstardom. Instead, she claimed she was blackballed after refusing unpaid promotion for the film. Mo'Nique called out major figures like Oprah and Tyler Perry, and later sued Netflix over pay discrimination. She has recently reconciled with director Lee Daniels, but for years, Hollywood stayed away from her boldness. Cuba Gooding Jr. became a household name with his unforgettable role in Jerry Maguire, where his "Show Me the Money" line won him an Oscar and global recognition. He was expected to become one of Hollywood's next great leading men, but after turning down key roles and choosing projects that failed at the box office, his momentum slowed. Then came dozens of misconduct accusations that made headlines. Although he avoided major prison time, his reputation was permanently damaged, and studios no longer wanted to take risks by casting him. Gary Dourdan was a fan favorite on CSI, Crime Scene Investigation, playing Warwick Brown for 8 seasons. His charm, talent, and on-screen presence earned him awards and a strong fan following. But behind the scenes, his personal life made news. Arrests for drug possession and allegations of violence overshadowed his career. He also faced bankruptcy, showing how far he had fallen. Today, Dourdan mostly appears in smaller independent films instead of major network shows. Isaiah Washington rose to fame on Grey's Anatomy as Dr. Preston Burke. He was a key character in one of the biggest shows on TV and looks set for long-term success. In 2007, a scandal derailed his career. He was accused of using a homophobic slur during a fight with co-stars and repeated it at the Golden Globes. Despite apologizing, the damage was done and ABC ended his contract. He later found work on The 100, but his career never returned to its former height. Lawrence Tate built a reputation as one of the most talented actors of the 19s, with standout performances in Love Jones, Menace to Society, and Dead Presidents. He became a household name in black cinema. Yet Hollywood never gave him the same blockbuster opportunities as some of his peers. Tate often turned to meaningful roles that told authentic black stories, which limited his mainstream appeal. He found steady work on television, especially with Power, but he never became the A-list star many expected him to be. Tisha Campbell became a legend in the 19 sitcom world, starring as Gina on Martin and later as Jay on My Wife and Kids. Her comic timing and on-screen chemistry made her a favorite in millions of households. But after those shows ended, Campbell didn't get the same big opportunities. Some of that came down to Hollywood's treatment of older women, especially black women. While she has worked on Empire, Uncoupled, and other shows, the spotlight hasn't been as bright. Still, with more than 4 decades in the industry, her staying power is undeniable. Darius McCrary became a household name as Eddie Winslow on Family Matters, the cool older brother in one of America's most beloved sitcoms. For years, he enjoyed steady work and the recognition that came with being part of a TV classic. When the show ended, things didn't go as expected. McCrary struggled with typecasting, as audiences couldn't separate him from Eddie. His career was also overshadowed by legal troubles, including unpaid child support cases. While he continues to act in smaller projects and create his own productions, Hollywood hasn't called him back to the big stage. Marcus T. Paulk rose to fame as Miles Moshe's little brother on the hit sitcom Moshe. Audiences loved his humor and youthful energy, and he seemed like a star who would grow into bigger roles. But making the leap from child star to adult actor proved difficult. He landed smaller roles in films like Roll Bounce and Red Tails, but nothing that pushed him into leading status. Instead, he focused on music and even started a modeling agency. While not a household name today, he's still active behind the scenes. Jaleel White became a cultural icon as Steve Urkel on Family Matters. His nerdy charm and unforgettable catchphrase, "Did I do that?" made him one of the most famous sitcom characters of all time. But being Urkel became both a blessing and a curse. White found it nearly impossible to break free from typecasting. Though he continued acting, voicing Sonic the Hedgehog, and appearing in series like The After Party, audiences still saw him as Urkel first. Recently, he's reinvented himself as a game show host, but Hollywood has never fully moved him past his most famous role. Cheryl Lee Ralph has been in the business for decades, first gaining recognition on Broadway in Dreamgirls. She appeared in countless TV shows and movies, but for years Hollywood didn't give her the credit she deserved. That all changed with Abbott Elementary. Her role as Barbara Howard finally brought her widespread recognition, earning her an Emmy in 2022. She has since received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame and even national honors. Ralph proves that real talent never fades. It sometimes just takes the right role at the right time to remind the world